anyone feel like lockdown has now gone on longer than they were expecting it to go on? I think
yes.
I crossed. I never had an idea at the start of like how long I thought it was going to last, but I now realise that it's longer than that. Like there was literally 1 week where I was like, nah, it's too long. I'm insane now.
Sorry, someone said yes. I didn't recognise their voice. Who was that? Who was that voice?
There's another voice. Another
Yeah.
voice. Another
Wait,
guest.
what?
Another guest on the Danger Club podcast.
We're going to turn a chair around here.
It's Naomi from Power Word Roll. Hello, Naomi. Yay! Welcome to the show, and indeed, welcome to you, and welcome to everyone else. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Danger Club podcast.
Yeah.
We are back, still in lockdown, still recording remotely, and here with Naomi from Power Word Roll to tell a brand new story. Naomi, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling another episode of Power Word Danger.
Yes.
So, we're ready to go.
It's about time, because we've been on your show so many times.
There's so many of you, like, trying to get through all of you.
We are basically like Pokemon. Danger Pokemon.
Yeah, we're trying to catch them all.
It's one of the real traits about the Danger Club podcast is that if you give us any opening at all, we will show up on your show. Like,
it's been a real pleasure actually having you all on. You've caused us to have our first character death, so that's great. Someone played a butter-based rogue, which was really helpful when shit hit the fan. It was just amazing.
Naomi, for those people that don't know, what's Power Word Roll? Tell us about it.
So Power Word Roll is we do the D&D, but we cut out all the garbage. So if it's boring, it gets cut. So we leave you with 30 minutes of fast-paced, fun D&D.
Nice.
Hang on,
Scott's got his hand up.
If the garbage all gets cut, then how did we end up on it? Am I right, guys? Am I right? Hello. Whoa,
Danger Club burn. Danger Club burn.
We sneaked on there, like we do every time. So they thought
we just keep the jokes. So there's some that I have had to cut that just obviously just so flat. But we do what we can with what we have. Sometimes I just have to put the laugh track in afterwards.
Like a bad 90s sitcom.
And then that's it. That was Scott on the Powered Roll. That's
It makes for a really intimidating record. When we did our Dragon Meet show with you guys, which is the only one we've recorded in the same room where we've all been together, there were just moments where one of us would make a joke and nothing would be said, but there was just a look on your face that was just that you were just like, well, that's not going in.
On our full recordings, you can definitely hear us sometimes say, well, that's getting cut.
We just keep those in. That's like conversations. That's half our podcast just going, I'm cutting that. That's going.
We had someone on our podcast that did that. I mean, who would that be who pleads our podcast? Colin, that's going out.
Don't we pay someone for that?
Hey, listen, man. I keep all the bad stuff in, even mine. You do. There's an episode coming out on Monday. Oh well, sorry, this will go in the future, won't it? There's an episode we released a couple of weeks ago, and I completely mispronounce a word and just leave it in. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I could have recorded myself saying the word right and made myself look great. Nope.
Oh, that's what I do. I just cut out any of the bad bits of me, and I'm like, I sound so good on this podcast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just give yourself a bit of ADR and make everyone else look shit. Yeah.
Your podcast is a little bit like the sort of Instagram filter of podcasts, and that's essentially what you're saying with Power Word Roll. Is that what you're going for?
Yeah. So obviously Conrad is a very beautiful young man, so he kind of carries it for the rest of us. We just put his face on everything. So that's how we do it, really.
His face affects the podcast quality.
Big up Conrad.
Big up Conrad.
It's nice
that's the nicest we've ever been to him.
It is. Having been on the stuff, half the stuff you cut is you guys being mean to Conrad.
No, we don't cut that. We always leave us being mean to Conrad in.
I have promised him I will teach him Starfinder at some point, so we will definitely do that sometime. But it is good to, because that is kind of our entire marketing strategy with this podcast is us showing up to other people's stuff. Like, that's kind of, there was a big thread on our Discord a while ago about how did you discover the Danger Club podcast, how did you become a Dangerling, and people talking about it, and like half the answers were Dan and Ross turned up at my gaming table and just played games with us, and then just left flyers with us when they went, and so I guess we listened now.
And being Ross, I bet he didn't say goodbye. He just literally just left in a cloud of flyers and he was gone.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Just threw some flyers at them and then went.
Little smoke pellet.
Little flamenco guitar riff, handful of flyers in the air, and we're gone. That's how it goes.
Yep.
But we're back to tell. We're telling a brand new story this week. So we had our two-parter the last couple of weeks with Jess Fosterq. That was fun. Insane.
What?
Jess is very funny, and took to it having never played a role. Not just Pathfinder, having never played a role-playing game. Like she didn't know she needed dice when we started it, and picked it up amazingly, and we had a lot of fun. But that was just a little two-parter to fit around childcare and I think the TV show she was shooting later on that evening. Or she's doing a lot of excellent writing for some quite big stuff. So yeah, keep an eye out. She's going to be about. If you're in the UK, she was on QI, I think, last week or before.
It's tonight.
Well, it's tonight from when we're recording.
Oh, yeah.
But from when this goes out, a couple of weeks ago.
We're really not thinking three-dimensionally today, are we?
This bodes well for the podcast.
Sometime it's all.
It's MCM Comic Con. It's never MCM Comic Con.
We need to replay that scene from like Back to the Future where he explains how time works, so we can go right. Okay.
But it'll be on iPlayer. If you want to go check out, you want to see Jess being funny, that'll be it. That's on iPlayer.
Oh, I thought you meant the Danger Club podcast. I was like,
Danger
cool.
Club podcast. Yeah, I'm going to sneak it in there. That's the.
You never know. In 3 weeks,
sneak into the BBC. Just
throw some flyers at Stephen Fry.
That's how it works.
Ross will just appear and just throw flyers and then just disappear again on live television.
Big up the BBC.
Stick a
Big up Stephen
flyer
Fry.
into one of the tape decks. Be like, there we go. That works.
Is that the new Witcher song? Stick a flyer in your
Tape deck.
Oh, Danger Club podcast. Oh, Danger Club podcast. Now leave.
Did you say tape deck, Dan?
I did. They have tape decks, right? That's how things are stored.
What has happened to time this morning? Like, we've gone back to 1986. It's amazing.
This is my favourite part of the preamble where James and Dan try to out-old each other.
I can actually feel myself being like reabsorbed into the womb as we speak.
Yes, it's working. Yes.
It is essentially our podcast is a group of people acting like dads, except the one person who is a dad who is playing a mum. Let's tell the story of Shania Rain.
Hooray!
I'm just going to drop that into conversation.
I mean, we're about to start the show, Colin. I think it's going to become...
I'm still surprised. I'm still this is too much for me, man.
Colin's going to edit that bit out.
Yeah.
Let's keep it mysterious as we go back in time and we drop down through the earth into the Darklands, far below Golarion. Now, could at this point be anyone's backstory as we drop down through the upper levels where the troglodytes live, the Zolgaths and the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs live underground in Golarion. We drop through that to the second level of the Darklands, to the great mushroom cities, to the great spires, the home of the Drow. Could be anyone. Who is it? Is it Ed Johnson? That's what my money on is. My money's on for this backstory.
It depends how long ago it was. Like,
it depends how long ago. It could be a long, long time. It feels like a long, long time ago in a galaxy far underground.
Ed Johnson isn't as old as the Earth, Colin. You can't have that.
How do you know?
That's
Scott?
what I was saying. Like,
He's not as old as, but he goes as deep as. So you know.
He's timeless. And as we go, we're going back a long, long way. So Shania, you are thinking back hundreds of years, and you're thinking back as far as you can in your memory. And there you can see a baby Fardeen the Panotti. It's his story that we're telling today. It's a tiny little elephant man. No. What am I doing? This is a really serious bit. Right. You go back as far as you can remember. Young Shania Rain. You're a small girl. You sat on a bed with your mother. You clutching your favourite toy close to your chest as she speaks. What's Shania's favourite toy? What's her toy as a little girl?
It's a little wooden monkey.
A little wooden monkey.
Yes, it has sort of opposable arms, so it can reach up for you like this.
Whoa.
No one can see that, but I reached up with both my arms. A little clingy thing. Yeah, a little clingy monkey.
A posable monkey. That's a...
Their second album was great. I loved it.
That's a prestige toy. Like your mother queued up outside Toys R Us for that.
I think she whittled it herself.
Nice. I mean, it's drats. Toys were yours. So you're holding your toy close to you, and your mother is holding up a symbol. She's holding up a spiral. It's carved from a piece of the dried woody fungus that your people use in crafts. And as she holds up to you, she says, "You see this, Shania? This is a forbidden symbol among our people. But I want you to see it. It is the marker of the Lady of Graves. And people think that Pharasma is the goddess of death, and she is, but that is only one end of the spiral. She is also the goddess of birth, of prophecy. She is complex in a way that our people do not understand. Here, look at this symbol, Shania." She hands you the little spiral and gives it to you to look at. And you feel your fingers.
The birth and the death, they are one thing?
You see at one end of the spiral, this is death. And at the other end of the spiral, this is birth. But everything in between, the spiral itself, that is the unknowable prophecy of life. You are all of these things, Shania. Never forget that. On the one hand, you are who you are born to be. Some people will never see past that. And also, there are others who will remember you in a way that you are when you are gone. And you are that person as well. You are their memories. But you are also the part in the middle, my child. The choices that you make, the lives that you touch. This is a part of you as well. I think you are older now. I think it is time for me to tell you why we have left Umberweb behind. Why we are traveling closer to the surface.
Yeah, I've been wondering. I've felt some things that I have not felt for since many years that I have been born. Why do we go this way, Mother?
Your mother is about to speak when suddenly there's a crash from downstairs, from somewhere in the house. You hear the sound of shouts, and then the sounds of metal clanging against metal. Your mother looks up and looks alarmed. She hears the noise. She turns back to you quickly. Under the bed, Shania. Now.
What is happening?
Do not argue with me, child. Under the bed, now. You stay there. You do not make a sound, no matter what happens. Do as I say.
Yes, Mother. But why? Don't leave me. Mother, please, do not leave me on my own. I do not understand.
Hustles you under the bed quickly. She turns and moves across the room. You see her feet as she runs across to the door, opens it, and peers out. As soon as the door opens, you hear the sound of battle raging somewhere down below. It fills your ears, the sound of voices shouting in a language you don't understand. She bends down and throws one final glance back to you, and then she wreathes her hand in emerald magic and runs out of the room, slamming the door behind her. The ferocious noise rises to a crescendo, and you hear a great explosion from downstairs. More clanging, more screaming, until suddenly the noise starts to go quiet, bit by bit, until finally the room is completely silent. You wait for a couple of moments, and then you hear the thump, thump, thump of heavy footsteps coming up the corridor outside the room. You push yourself back as far as you can under the bed as you sense something on the other side of the door. The door creaks and very slowly opens. And under the bed, from your place under the bed, you can see a pair of stocky, booted feet entering the room. You can tell by the way it breathes that it's a dwarf. There's something about it. Breathing heavily as it strides in. It makes its way across the room towards the bed where you're hiding. And it gets so close that you're convinced that it must have seen you. And suddenly it turns and sits down on the mattress. The whole thing sags close to you as the creature sits down on the bed on top of you. And you can smell the sweat and the blood. There's a clang as a huge axe drops to the floor and lands on the stone just inches from your nose. And you look out of it and you can see a dragon motif carved onto the blade of it. But that's not what your eye is drawn to. Your eye is drawn to the blood all across, smeared across the blade. You try as hard as you can not to breathe. Another dwarf enters the room. The dwarf on the bed stirs, and it says something in a language that you don't understand. A sort of guttural language. All of a sudden it stops and seems to notice something across the room. You look out from under the bed and you see your toy monkey lying where you dropped it when you were hustled onto bed in the middle of the floor. The creature immediately stands and starts to walk across the room towards the toy, that terrible axe grinding against the stone as it walks. The dwarf bends down and you see its thick hand pick up the toy and lift it up out of sight. Suddenly, it says something to the other in an angry voice. It starts shouting and yelling. You hear a crash as the toy hits the wall. The dwarves start shouting at each other so heatedly that you think they're going to come to blows. You don't know what they're shouting about, but they're yelling. The one that was sitting on the bed is furious. And all of a sudden, they sweep out of the room and they're gone. You're there in silence. You don't know how long you lay there. You don't know how many hours or how many days you stay hidden under the bed, not daring to move. All you remember is how it ended. You remember the noises downstairs, the door opening again. You remember the bed being lifted from you, looking up into the face of Vash Azraine, the drow that you would come to call brother. You remember his voice. Well, well. Looks like the dwarves missed one of you. Don't worry, little sister. You're home now. And we cut forward in time, many years later, where we have Shania Rain, similar to how we remember her in the Danger Club podcast. So she is older now. She is an adult. She is in a scullery somewhere in a large building, in a large drow noble house. There are pots and pans piled up everywhere around you, Shania. Filthy floors, a mop and bucket, although not as threatening a mop and bucket as the ones in the previous podcast. You've checked it out; it's not dangerous. And you are the matron of the house, not in the sense of D&D Drow matron, but there's the one in charge of the kitchens, the cook, is just leaning in from the door and yelling at you as you finished cleaning some of the dishes. Now, one thing that we do notice about Shania on this is she is heavily pregnant. You are how far along would you say you are, Shania?
I mean, it's going to be in terms of what a human pregnancy would be. We must be about 7 or 8 months ish along. Basically from this point onwards, the baby could arrive any time. If it arrived very quickly, it might be a bit early. It might need some help. If it arrived later, it might be a real problem getting out. But it could arrive at any time. It's grown enough to be brought into the world and survive at this point.
So despite this, you're still working hard, still trying to clean dishes. The cook shouts across at you from the door and says, "Shania, these plates are a disgrace. Clean them again. If you want to go outside, you finish your work. You earn your place here in the house."
Yes, matron, of course. I will work hard. I'm sorry.
They should never have brought you back here. And she turns and slams the door. As you are cleaning, a small badger pokes its head out from under one of the counters where it's been hiding.
Oh, Philippe, what am I doing here? This is not the life that I saw for myself. You are my only friend.
Yeah. Badger looks at you sadly and nods.
Maybe you're all right. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't fit in here. But then, how could I possibly fit in up there? I feel like there is more to life than backstabbing and darkness. Look at this place, isn't it dank? There's something rotting, it's totally rank, and I'm just a girl who has nothing. Look at these shoes, so full of holes, and all my friends, they are badgers and moles. Look at this girl, she has got nothing. My family is dead and I'm skinny, except for the child they put in me. You want a reason to live? Well, I've got one. But what if it's a boy? Well, what then? I want to be where the humans are, out in the weather where everything's bright. I want to be where the sun comes out and everything's bathed in that. What's the word? Light. Out of this cave, I'd be so brave. Cast off the shadows of the night. I'll go up there, where things are fair, into the light. Oh, Philippe.
Yes!
Oh, how I wish. I had known what Mother was talking about, where we were going. There's something inside of me, something... Maybe I will discover one day. For now, I must finish these dishes. Now, you get along, you little scamp.
You are interrupted from your thinking by the door opening again. Naomi, you have come down to check on Shania, who is within your care. Would you like to tell us who enters the room?
Yeah, I think I'll just enter if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Because obviously, the rock is always greener in someone else's cave. You dream about going up there, but it's a big mistake. And this is your aunt / birthing coach, Karen, who walks into the room.
Car, I'm sorry, I was just dreaming again. You know how I am.
Well, you are... I see you have a lot of dishes to do. But as your birthing coach, I really think that we should be breathing while we do this.
So are you saying that with every dish I wash, I can breathe? One in, dish wash. One out, dish dry. Dish wash, dish dry. Dish wash, dish dry. Is this?
No, slower.
Dish wash?
Mostly, the dishes are still dirty. You can't wash them that fast.
Okay.
You really need to take a little bit more time.
I have been told that my dishwashing technique leaves an awful lot to be desired. Perhaps I was not made to wash dishes. I don't know.
I think Karen comes and she puts her arms around you as best she can, and there's this sort of teaching you to play pool sort of moment, but with washing dishes.
Like Ghost.
Hello.
Yeah.
Is it me you're washing for? So like a hand on my hand.
Yeah.
And showing me how to go round and round a dish slowly.
Gentle circles.
Like
this is the This is the circle of life we're experiencing here together.
I see. Yeah. I am completely comfortable with this. This is fine for me. I have no problem with what you are doing there. That's okay. Yeah, I'm unthreatened
I feel like
by you.
we're connecting, and that's what it's all about.
The badger, the badger from its place under the counter turns and looks at a couple of rats. They both shrug, and they all turn back to look at you. At that point, the door opens again. Ross, you have been sent to bring Karen and Shania upstairs to the audience chamber for a meeting with the lady of the house. Please tell us who enters the room.
Imrath Ergun. He's a drow man who has curtains, white hair curtains. He's also wearing spectacles, and he squints a lot. It's almost like he's short-sighted, and he's not like muscly. He's quite lean. He looks a bit shy, and he comes in and goes, hello there. Hello, Shania. Hello.
Imras. Hello. Can I help you?
Yeah. You're looking very beautiful today. Please, do you need to sit down? I can get you a chair or something if you need to.
Well, I am in the middle of doing my breathing exercises and dishwashing. I'm not sure that I should. That would be. I would be in trouble.
Oh no. So you've got to go upstairs into the meeting chamber.
Upstairs?
Both of you. Yeah.
In her condition, you can't be serious.
I can help you up. I can carry you if you like.
I think that's only right.
Okay.
Are you sure? I mean, I'm heavy with child.
I can't.
You're not heavy with child.
Ross,
You're
if you
light with
fucking drop pregnant Shania, like I and the Dangerlings gonna find out where you fucking live. I swear to fucking God.
I can sort of help your arm if you want, like rather than carry you fully if you want.
Perhaps this would be best. Yeah, okay.
No, it's unacceptable.
Well, perhaps you could take the other arm, and between you, then.
No, I need to be with you spiritually, but not physically. I have a pinched nerve in my joint that means I cannot help. So
I understand.
But I'll be with you the whole way in spirit.
There's two ways up these stairs based on this conversation. I can tell you one of them involves rolling a dice and one of them doesn't.
Well, we go to there's an easier way to get up if you want. And you know what, Shania? I can do the dishes for you, so you don't have to do them.
You would do my dishes for me? No, this is crazy. We would both be for the chop.
No, it's okay. I won't tell if you don't.
Okay.
So half smiles. Okay.
Why am I needed upstairs?
I don't know. They didn't tell me. They just said that they needed you to come upstairs to meet in the chamber.
Okay, Shania takes a deep breath. She's clearly scared about what's going to happen up there, and goes to make her way up the stairs.
Okay. The badger follows you, looking pensive, and the rest of you follow along as well. You make your way up the stairs, out of the scullery, out of the servants' quarters, where you live most of your life, and you make your way into the grand audience chamber at the very heart of the house. There's a great table in the centre where the main family dine, and at the end there is a great chair where people sit.
Do I need to revise my accent?
No.
Am I going to be the only person with a non-Germanic accent?
Germanic
have to wait and see.
Very generous way of describing it.
Okay, cool.
Sort of just vaguely, Scott's not.
There will be others, don't worry. And this is only this is, I think we established the Umberweb accent, this particular part of the Darklands, but there are Drow from different parts, so that is fine.
Cool.
It's not like gnomes who are universally French. So you're in the great audience chamber, and at the end, at the very top of the room, there is a throne on which is sat your stepmother, Zilqua Azraine. The
Zilqua?
Zilqua. Zilqua. Azraine. She has been the head of the Azraine family for centuries and has ruled over it. Standing beside her is her husband, Trianus Azraine. Zilqua is an impressive and imposing dark elf. She has a great mane of white hair, which is heavily braided around a bejeweled headpiece. She wears a purple gown and jeweled rings and necklace as she sits and stares out at you. Her husband, Trianus, is a much more slightly built drow, with receding white hair and a little goatee. As soon as you enter the room, he looks away from you, and he will not meet your gaze while you're in the room.
Trey! I haven't seen you all day. How are you doing?
He shuffles. Karin?
Brother, it has been too long.
Yes, it does. It is always good to see that you are looking well, I suppose.
Well, I've been trying this new tea. It just completely flushes you out. It's amazing.
At that point, as you all think about being flushed out by tea, you notice there is another person in the room, sat in one of the chairs at the side of the room. There is another drow. James, would you tell us who is sat in the room as well?
I will. Sat in that chair is a sort of tall, rather thin, but strong-looking drow. He looks like a hunter. He's wearing sort of a fairly plain leather armour, sort of dark leather armour, and his white hair swept back into a ponytail. And he's wearing a sort of a cloak, which is quite heavily lined with fur. And that is Nalas, who is Shania's older stepbrother. He looks rather disdainfully at the party's enter. Oh, look, it's fat little Shani.
She is with child. It is a beautiful time in a young lady's life.
So you say.
Peter, why have you called me here?
Your stepmother regards you with some interest and then beckons you forward towards her. Do you approach?
Yes.
It's a trap, Rusgollum. You approach her, and as you get close, she reaches out. She reaches out one hand as if to brush your cheek, and says, "My daughter." And as she gets to your cheek, she lowers her hand down and just places the hand on your belly instead. Says, "This is a great honor that you carry, Shania. You are carrying the future head of House Azraine. When that girl is born, she will one day succeed me and my other disappointing children as the head of this great household and return us to glory. I hope you understand the privilege that you have been given by being allowed to carry this."
Yeah, of course I do, Meta, of course. She bows her head, she's shaking, she's clearly fearful.
Mm-hmm. The time has come to attend to matters spiritual regarding the child. There are things that must be carried out when there is the birth of a noble daughter. There is an item that must be retrieved. Do you know of the vaults of Orv?
I have heard tell of them, but I they are dangerous, no?
Of course you do not know so much, Janaya. You are here for what you can carry for us, not for your brains. The vaults of Orv lie deep below the Darklands, in the very heart of the earth. They are built by aeons ago by creatures not understandable to those who live above. There are strange things below there. Deep below Umberweb in the very heart of the vaults, there is the sightless sea. It is a great ocean beneath the earth. And there are islands where crafters make trinkets, items of ritualistic significance. There is one that I would have retrieved for my new daughter. It is a talisman, a powerful symbol that will protect the child in its young life. It is tradition that expected mothers will go to this place and retrieve these items. Normally they do not go as deep as the vaults themselves, but the last group that I sent to retrieve it, to bring it part of the way for you to meet them, disappointed me. And so now we are forced, with the times that is presented to us, to send you yourself. It is imperative you retrieve this before the child is born, if it is to grow to the powers that I require it.
Mate, you wish for me to go, but what of the child? The child could be harmed. No, this is dangerous.
I trust that you will not allow that to happen. But, to be sure, I am not sending you alone. Karen will travel with you, obviously, because, frankly, I don't want her in the house anymore. I trip over her yoga mat all the time. It's a nightmare. There's incense everywhere. It's dreadful. Imrath will protect you as well. And Nallas, you will go with Shania as well.
What? No, mother, I do not want to go.
I don't care what you want to do. You are a male child of House Azraine. You do what you are told to do. But you have lain about this house for long enough.
But you said I could go and see Vash.
Vash proved himself. He is a great warrior. That is why we sent him away to serve as the Grand Council. You serve us well on this. Perhaps you will end up the same as Vash. Huh?
Fine.
Very good. You will need guides as well. Our people do not travel below this level very often. And so I have arranged for some locals from the area who know the way to the passage down to the vaults. Imras, open the door for me, will you?
Yes, Your Majesty, Your Highness, the lady of the house. He goes over to the door, unlocks it, opens it, bows his head,
and flanked by a couple of Drow guards, keep an eye, two figures enter. First of all, Scott, who is one of the figures that enters the room.
This figure is a small figure, a figure who is overwhelmed at being in the room that they are in. It's a small male gnome with ashen skin, toes poking through his boots, a variety of accoutrement around his small diminutive body, including very large centipedes that look like they could be used for tools, and a fishing rod across his back. He wears a large mushroom cap as a hat, underneath which he is blushing profusely.
Very nice. And Colin, who walks in beside him?
So, coming in beside him is a goblin with sort of blue, greeny skin, dressed in grey, sort of leathery jacket with tassels hanging from his arms, studded armour underneath, really shiny teeth, like the cleanest teeth. He's so clean, it's unbelievable. They almost shine in the dark. He has a tuft of sort of bright green hair, spiky on his head. He has a neckerchief, like a red neckerchief, and he's got like a 3/4 length blue trousers and what used to be cream coloured boots, but they are definitely not cream anymore. He walks with like a short staff, And that's what he looks like. And his name is Fly Yai Flickalo.
The stepmother says, "Step forward, the two of you. This goblin and this..."
Wait, I am not a goblin.
Everyone just stops and looks at you.
I am a drow, and I will not hear anything else. Why does everybody say this? Fuck!
Mother, please, you cannot be intending to send us with these things. What is this? Is this a joke?
It is not a joke. We do not know the outsides of the city. These two do. They can help guide you. And what of you? Are you a drow as well, I suppose, other creature?
The gnome goes wide-eyed at being addressed, looks around the throne room, puts his head down so you see the bright spots on the mushroom cap and puts it back up again. Yes. Oh, no, I'm not a drow. You lot are drow. Your ladyships and your... And then realises the males in the room. Your lordyships. No, just a guide. Nebastian, miladies, lordies, lordly ladyships.
I like them.
Well, at least this one knows his place.
As is right for us, Neef Leplin. I did not want to have to be the first one on the episode to have to say that. Somebody was going to have
I was waiting for it. I was like, I can say gnome, they know what I mean.
Take a run at it. It's fine. Weirdly, if Collins then plays that backwards in the recording later on, it's not the head lyrics. So, you will all go to the outskirts, to this passage, to the vaults, retrieve this amulet, and give it to the child, or bring it back here if the child is not born yet. But either way, you must return to me with my daughter properly blessed. Do this and you will all get what you deserve. You
I
understand?
already feel #blessed sister.
Your brother Trajanus just kind of puts his head in his hands a little bit and just looks like he wants to be anywhere but here.
I have that effect on people, that's fair.
I feel like they have had this conversation a lot of times about how long you are staying for in the house.
But she's my sister. Yes, but she's terrible. Yeah, well...
But it's good for the baby. With that, you are dismissed from the household and sent outside. You step out of the gates into the streets of the city of Umberweb. Umberweb is made up of these great mushrooms that grow up out of the ground, and the houses are carved into them, but they are solid. They're solid like stone, these mushrooms. They're like the ones in Subnautica that you think, oh, it's a mushroom, that's it, and you crash your ship into it and it explodes, and you're like, oh, thanks, mushroom. Niche reference, I know, but that really bugged me when that happened. So you step down the steps into the streets, and there's a bit of a mix out here on the streets. The Drow nobles themselves, they don't tend to leave their homes very often, and if they do, they have a large retinue. Whereas on the streets, there's a mix of sort of common Drow like Imrath, who are not noble, and there's a mix of other people as well. You see a few. You see a few deep dwarves, Durga, sort of grey-skinned dwarves moving around, very different to the ones that you remember from the surface, and a couple occasional deep gnomes moving about, going about their business. So Nebastian and Flea. Is it Flea or Fly?
Fly.
Nebastian and Fly. You have been called in because, as folk who live sort of in and around the town and aren't in the upper areas, you've been around a bit. You know a bit about the outskirts of the town, and you know that there is the two of you found a while ago there was a sinkhole on the edge of town, which you know goes far deeper down into the earth that not many of the Drow houses know about. That is why you were called upon to help guide everyone to there. But we'll pick up with you all in the street as you're because this is the first time you're all gathered together. We'll jump in with you here and see how's everyone doing.
What is happening here? I have never left the household before. Do we not need provisions, weapons?
Lady Shania, you stay close to me, okay? Don't stray away from me. I will protect you.
You will protect her. You, Imras.
Yes, shut up, Nihilus. You are useless. You cannot even catch a fly in between your fingers. You are useless.
You call me useless, little Shani. Well, perhaps I have a bald spot here on my cloak. I should add... where is that awful little badger of yours? Perhaps I will add it to my collection.
Don't you touch Philip, you stay away from Philip.
Yeah, that's right.
Would you stop the arguments? You don't need to worry. You're with me. I am a famous warrior. I will take down anything. But you must get weapons. Yes, a weapon would be good, Miss Azraine.
Imrath hands Shania a dagger that he has and says, "Here, for your protection."
Thank you so much. Wait, hold on. I think I have here. Yes. From when I was doing the harvest, this sickle I have. Yeah. Okay.
What you're going to say from when you were washing the pots? You just got a sickle. Like
yeah. It's good for scraping off the water.
I just need this to wash the pots, man.
They had some grilled, chiseled on cheese. This only gets off with the sickle.
Drow love their grilled cheese. That's a
famous Drow sandwich.
They love a bit of Welsh rarebit.
That's all they eat.
This is good, yeah. So now you have the weapons. We can go to the sinkholes.
Wait, hold on. The sinkholes? Where are they?
Yes, on the outskirts of town. It is over here. I've been here before.
My ladyship, the Drow, Sebastian looks at Fly, is correct. There is a big hole, goes right down into the middle of the earths, and I can smell it, and things come out of there, and sometimes I talk to them, and don't worry, it's all going to be okay.
Have you been down there yourself?
Yeah, no, but I've been around it, and I fished in the air over the hole, and I've got some grubs. And
I think I have seen you. I have seen you around the edge of the hole.
You would never see me. I'm sneaky when I want to be. I can just pretend to be a mushroom. Look, he stands very still, pretends to be a mushroom.
Yeah, yes, I see what you do.
Is it really dangerous down there?
Who knows? I have never been down there, but it is exciting, though.
So both of you are just hole edge hangers. This is what we've got. Just you hang on the edge of holes, and this is our party. Or
my ladyship.
Imrath saw.
My ladyship. If it was dangerous, it surely would prove no danger to Drow as powerful and as mighty as yourselves and the sirs here. Why, surely nothing in all the Darklands can be dangerous to people such of yourselves. And he does a little bow.
I am a scullery maid, you fool. Oh, God.
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's majestic.
Do not worry about little fat Shani, but here you are correct, yeah? And Nalas unstrings like a really, really beautiful composite longbow from his back. I will protect you. At least one of us has some breeding,
Naomi, what does Karen think about this?
I think Karen's kind of, she's in the back, and she's doing a little bit of, stretching, and, a little bit of, downward dog kind of is happening. She, they're having this conversation about who will protect who, and she does, a backwards walkover with her, bendy fucking body. And she's like, what's important here is not to stress. Stress leads to putting all of that bad vibes into the body, and then you're sending those bad vibes into the baby. And as we know, babies only like good vibes. Good vibes only for babies. And
you know what, Karen, you are absolutely right. For the good of the baby, we must all be calm. We must undertake this challenge and We must do it well.
I mean, I've had I've had 14 children, and I've had to do this for all of them. It's really not a big deal. You know, it's just about stretching, and taking our time, and, you know, it's all completely natural, and natural is good. So we're ready to go. Don't worry about it.
You should stay calm, yeah? And perhaps if we are lucky down that big hole, we'll find some dwarves, yeah? That would be good. Wouldn't you like to find some dwarves?
You shut up, Nallis. You shut up about dwarves, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Can Nebastian...
Nallis? Sorry,
yeah.
Sebastian's just looking at Karen doing the stretching and takes anything that the Drow do as amazing and majestic, and would try and to very shyly emulate what she's doing in the street to see if I can. Can I was there a performance check or something?
Go ahead, give us a performance check to see if you can match.
No stress. That's a natural 1, my friends.
Yeah.
You both tie yourself in a knot and become stressed.
I don't know, this looks stressful to me. I don't think you look very relaxed there, sort of mushroom.
You have to work through it. It's a process. And Nallis...
Mm-hmm.
You understand that I'm a generation above you and a woman.
Yes, of course. I apologise.
Then maybe we should stop stressing out on you, Mother, and cut the bullshit.
Alice looks cross, but he says, yeah, of course, I will do this. My apologies, sister.
Otherwise, I'll push you in that fucking hole myself.
Shania allows herself a little smile at this. That was nice.
Nallis does a curt little nod and just turns on his heel and starts stalking off down the street.
Wait, you do not know where you are going. What are you doing? It is the other way, Nallis.
He stops and
You walk
turns.
down an alleyway, and Ross Gollum. No. Must not.
I keep thinking you saying Ross Gollum. I think that would be scary if we just had multiple mashed up Rosses just appearing.
Just different images of Ross from, kind of handlebar moustache Ross, goatee Ross. They're all just different, but it's got beards really.
Imrath quickly just turns, as we walk off, just turns to Shania and just says, "Don't listen to him. I think you're pretty cool."
Thank you, Imraz.
Your ladyship.
God, Caragor would have hated this guy. Caragor would have hated this guy so much. The differences between Caragor and Imrath is Spike and Riley to Buffy. I can't... The levels of, prehistoric I see you are off the charts.
Good reference.
Love that.
Boy.
There's sort of a huge amount, I feel, of Caragor's existential crises are to do with the fact that this is happening about 200 years before he was born.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to acknowledge
Can't even compete.
So, what do you want to do? Do you want to guide yourself out of town? Do you want to do any prep or anything?
Does anyone need to get anything from the shops before we go?
I am always ready.
I'm presuming, we gather up some provisions, whatever weapons we need, and then we get on our way, right?
All right. So you make your way out. As you walk along the streets, you see a lot of the locals, particularly non-Drow. They get out of your way, and specifically, they get out of Karen's way. She is the one that is kind of parting the tide of people as you walk through. It is known who the members of noble houses are, and even as a sort of a lower member of a noble house, Karen, you still outrank everyone that you would meet on the streets out here. The divide between noble and non-noble.
It's because I'm spiritually awakened and all these bitches aren't. That's what it is.
Are you still yogaing on your back down the street? That's
Yeah, I think I'm warrior posing and doing my deep breathing. Nice. And I think I'm occasionally addressing people in the street, but in a really weird, uncomfortable way. You know those when you meet someone in the supermarket and they're like, "Oh my god, I just love your energy," like that kind of thing.
Oh my
And you're like,
god!
I just want, like, please leave me the fuck alone. Yeah, it's like that vibe.
Worst.
She's the worst.
Yes,
So as you make your way along, you hear sort of from further back, you hear some people talk. You hear somebody just go, "Maybe I should try yoga." People kind of try to gauge what the new thing is for the nobility. So you make your way through the streets of Umberweb and out the city walls, out into the main cavern itself, beyond the sort of the limits of the city, which is effectively out of the mushroom forest. That sounds made more of a Mario kind of thing, way of explaining it, but it's more sinister than that. But as you come sort of out of the great stalks of the mushrooms which make the buildings of it, you come out into a vast empty cavern. There are occasionally little sort of rivers running across it, but there's not a whole lot out here. There are some small shacks and things made out of sort of offcuts and fallen mushrooms. This is where the sort of shanty towns are, where the poorer live, where it's where all the deep gnomes live out here. They don't live in the main city, and so as you make your way through it, the poverty level drops. Or increases rather as you get through here. There's not a lot of building materials down in the Darklands. There's no wood in the Darklands. It all has to be made out of these great mushrooms and sort of carved off it. So it's not like if you're poor you can just go and knock down a tree and use it. You have to really, because these mushrooms are huge, you have to wait until you have to salvage stuff. So it's more like a favela than anything else. It's more like the houses are made of like salvaged bits of metal and things like that. It's that kind of vibe. So you make your way through this, looking at the creatures who kind of peer out at you. And finally you get to the very edge of the cavern. Fly and Sebastian lead you through this, around behind a sort of a heavy rock fall. And there before you, looking down, you can see a great sinkhole. You can see a pit that just drops away. It's just a sheer edge, and then it just drops down into the darkness. And you can see a slight shimmer of water at the bottom. And very far down, near the water, you can see there is a crack in the rock that seems to have some carvings around it, which appears to be a way on. However, there is no obvious way down other than climbing down the sheer rock face itself to try and get there with a heavily pregnant Shania. So I hope you have all stretched, because that's where we're going to leave it for tonight.
Oh! All right.
Well.
Party.
Party, everyone.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice.
We'll see you next week.